Hey guys, I want to make a quick, simple, honest review of one of my favorite all-time buys that I've snagged off Amazon. It's this Bedsure electric heated blanket. There's a link down in the description down below if you want to pick one of these up for yourself. But I wanted to wait after about a year plus of owning this thing and just give an honest review of how I felt about it. Because actually in the beginning when I was searching for one of these products, I had actually bought one or two other brands models. I ended up returning them because they had issues. Like they wouldn't stay hot that long. They kind of never got hot enough. They cycled. One of them just plain out stopped working altogether. So I don't even remember what brands those were, but this is the Bedsure. Okay, it's one of the most purchased brands for products like this on Amazon. So yeah, that says a lot, obviously, but I just want to give you a quick little rundown of this product here and tell you a little bit about it. It's very soft. It's very comfortable. This like outside velour sort of type feeling material is really, really nice. It's held up really well. It's still soft. It's got a really nice fleece inside as well that feels great and stays nice and warm. When you get up close to this thing, you kind of see like where the cording of the electrical wiring runs through the blanket. And you can feel that a little bit, but it definitely doesn't affect the comfort or the usability or anything like that as far as the day-to-day use of the blanket. The electrical cord plugs into the corner here. And one thing I really like about this is it's nice. The fact that, just kind of hard to hold the camera. Two hands here, but you can see that the plug actually comes out, and you could store the whole cord in a different place maybe during the summer months. That's what I do. I just keep the cord in a plastic box on the side, and I fold the blanket up and put it where I store it. But it's just like a nice feature to have, just the fact that you can undo it, and it just keeps a little more tidy, you might say, when it comes to storing the blanket. So the other thing that it's just, the way that this blanket has been designed to incorporate the control into kind of like the middle of the cording run from the place you're plugging it into where it plugs into the blanket itself. And this is one thing, actually, I did like on other blankets. I've seen this done in different ways. Some of them just like completely did away with this like handheld, like separate controlling mechanism. Obviously, and the coolest designed one that I saw was on. It actually had like a little power button like right on here, like it lived on the blanket itself. So it was just like a little bit cleaner design. And that's like one thing just to consider when you're buying this sort of thing is that, I mean, maybe that's important to you, maybe it's not. Some people want to be able to have this controller out in their hand and be able to maybe manipulate things a little bit easier. I've just kind of found it to be just a little bit of a pain sometimes. Like this wire will get tangled up, and it's not a huge deal, but it's just something to think about. That I've found myself having to untangle this more times than once after it kind of gets balled up after spending the night on the couch with it. But that being said, the remote works just fine. It's pretty simple. We've got a power button where you can go up to a 6 setting for the highest heat that'll do and down to a 1. There's a timer feature as well. I never use it personally, but you can set it to go automatically off at a certain point in time. There's also an auto off feature just in general on the blanket that if you were to accidentally leave this on, and let's say you leave the house maybe or something, you fall asleep, you forget about it, it's going to go off. I want to say after 3 hours automatically, unless you've set something different in here. So that's just like a nice feature. That's definitely come in handy for me a few times, and I've forgot about the heating being on. So just a couple things to tell you about the power cord there. The other thing that I really want to make sure you guys understand is because I think, some people buy these thinking that they are going to get like very hot in a quick way, like to a higher temperature, let's say, to the way that they might be used to like a medical heating pad, right? They sell these heating pads, or they're always a lot smaller than like something like a blanket, that are designed for maybe people with like back injuries if you're using it to treat some sort of like muscular sort of thing. But those heating pads, like I said, they get really hot really fast. They go to a higher temperature, and a lot of people buy a blanket like this like thinking it's going to be the same thing, and it's not. This thing gets very nicely warm. It gets plenty warm, but you just need to understand that it's never going to be exactly like a heating pad, okay? And something else to consider is that if you've got this thing like completely laid out, just the way that it's dissipating and able to hold on to its heat, some people might be a little disappointed in that, right? Like I said, expecting a higher temperature, that it's actually going to output. That's just like a physics thing, and there's only so much like energy that you're going to be able to run through here, and to be able to like get that really like hot experience is all that I'm trying to describe to you guys. So manage your expectations with that. But one little trick that I like to do is, like, let's say I'm getting ready to spend the night on the couch, keep the blanket balled up, turn it up to the high setting. And what that's going to kind of do is preheat the entire like ball of blanket. And when you come back in 5 or 10 minutes, like the whole thing's going to be nice and toasty. And then when you lay it out and spread it over your body, you've already got this sort of residual heat that's in the blanket that stays with you. And now that your body's inside of it, and even laying the blanket out in that sort of circumstance, it tends to hang on to the heat like a little bit better, which is just like one way that I've found myself using this a lot of times. Like I said, doing that sort of like preheating, balling up, load the thing up with heat first before you actually want to get under it. You don't have to do that. It's just one little small thing I've found works pretty well. The other thing that's cool too is if, I've done it a few times where if you were using this on a bed, for example, it's really nice to, like, you have your sheeting layer, you put this thing down, and then on top of that, you put your comforter, or your quilt or your bigger blanket, and you make this nice little sandwich for yourself. Same thing, you can like preheat the bed so that when comes time for you to jump in there, like the whole bed is nice and toasty. So it's just like a nice, like, cool thing to do if you happen to be sleeping in a house that's really chilly, or you get cold for whatever reason. So just two little different ways that I've found myself using this thing. But all in all, like I said, this thing has been going strong for over a year now. It does, in my opinion, get plenty hot. There's a lot of times, even when I'm in a chilly house, if I'm under this thing for an hour or two, I'm actually finding myself like turning the heat down or off in some circumstances, because like you're almost getting like too warm at a certain point, which says a lot, like I said, about the abilities and capabilities of this thing to warm you up and heat you up and keep you warm and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much the big stuff. The other thing I can say too is, like, you've got a really nice long cable run here. So if you happen to have an electrical out that's far from your couch or your bed, you just have a nice length of cable to work with here that I think is not always the case with some of the other models out there that have like a little bit shorter run on them. So, all right, guys, that's all I've got to tell you about this one. I'm really happy with this product. Like I said, one of my all-time favorite buys off Amazon. Go pick one of these up if you're like me and you're always cold. I don't think you'll be disappointed in the Bedsure. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Talk to you later.